Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Build Your Copywriting Business podcast. Hey there, Kate.
Hello, hello.
Hello. And to everyone, even though, quite frankly, Kate and I are recording this when it's barely October, when you're listening to this, we are going to be deep into December.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
Aren't you glad that you tuned in so you could hear us sing? Yes. You're welcome. That's your holiday gift. Actually, holiday gifts is what we're here to talk about. Now, we realize we are a little bit late for Hanukkah, but this is also holiday season, New Year, and we're going to talk about things that will benefit you not just during the holiday season, but for all of 2022. So,
and if you listen in July, Christmas in July, if that's your thing, it's always a holiday.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's your birthday.
Yeah. Treat yourself. Treat yourself and treat your business, which is our theme of the episode, Gifts to Get Your Business. So what are we going to start off with, Kate?
Ooh, I think it's my favorite, and it is the gift of time. And so what does that mean? What does that look like? I think the biggest thing is potential areas that are not your zone of genius, not what you thrive at, not what your clients are necessarily paying you to do, which is write copy. But there are lots of other things that you need to get done, whether it is for your business or whether it's around your house and, keeping an office space that's clean. So I know I can't work in a crazy office environment. It needs to be real clean. So there's ways you can outsource these things, right?
Mm-hmm. I think one of the first people think about is that concept of hiring a house cleaner to come in. Mm-hmm. And I know that for a lot of people, there are some big issues with that. Mm-hmm. Like, my parents never paid anyone else to clean the house, or if I can do it myself, it feels irresponsible to pay someone else to do it. But that's really not, it's not a useful way to think about it. Unless you enjoy, if you enjoy cleaning your house, good for you. I don't understand you, but good for you, do it. If that helps you de-stress, awesome. You can find something else to outsource, I'm sure. But if it's something that, for me, for example, it drags me down, I don't look forward to it, it stresses me out, and it ends up taking me a lot longer than it should because I'm procrastinating as I clean my house. In that case, not only does it save me time, because when the house cleaner is here, which is actually usually during the workday, by the way, when the house cleaner is here, I can be working on my business and then not have to spend additional hours in the evenings or additional hours on the weekends. And then for me too, it's also a well-being thing. I love having a wonderful clean house, and I hate actually doing it. There are so many other ways that I would like to spend my time, whether it's working on this business, whether it's writing copy, or whether it's just reading and relaxing. Because you and I know, Kate, we both work a lot, something that we're working on also for the new year. But I think something that people should think about too when it comes to hiring a house cleaner or hiring someone to do anything for them, because I know that like, well, it's to hire someone else to do it. There's a lot of money mindset stuff wrapped up in that. I get that, but don't forget that you are providing work for someone. And that's a wonderful position to be in, to be making enough of an income that it actually financially makes sense for you to be paying someone else to do this work. That's a really great position to be in, to then literally pay it forward to provide work for other fantastic, hardworking people. That is a great position to be in. If house cleaners didn't have clients, they wouldn't have income. So it's okay to be a client of a house cleaner.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And if you're not into house cleaners, I have my little robot vacuum friend, as everyone knows. We've definitely talked about it before. It was an investment. Yes. My husband can tell you I was not thrilled the first day that I found out he purchased it. And now I am a huge convert. It saves me so much time. And I think that's the name of the game, is putting a value on your time, which you do for your clients. Yes, we usually charge by the project, but you have an hourly rate. So use that when you're doing other tasks that maybe you either really don't want to do or are taking away from making money for your business. And so as an example, the other day I was going to make a return and I thought about going to the store to do it. And I realized it was going to take me like an hour plus on the subway and all these other things to one way and then to go back. And so it had been like a 2-hour event to go return this item because I could return it to the store for free. Versus paying $7.50 to ship it from USPS, not have to print out a code, whatever, just show up and they print out the label and good to go. And I was ready to go on that subway ride, and then I thought, how silly of me. $7.50 and I can save it would have taken me 5 minutes to walk to the post office. And so I decided, yeah, I'm going to go to the post office and save myself that time so I can do some client work. And guess what? My hourly rate is much higher than $7.50, so I will make that back.
Yeah. I think that's really the big shift that people need to think about when it comes to like, oh, I don't know, but I could do it myself. Yeah, but really, should you? Some people go, well, it's cost me that's the what's the phrase? Penny wise, pound foolish, right? That's well, I'm going to save $7.50, but I'm going to be out 2 hours worth of valuable copywriting time to save $7.50. It's very silly, and not very silly because I think most of us default to, well, I don't want to pay you $7.50, but we really need to think in terms of truly valuing our time. And the thing is too, is it doesn't have to be, if I think that's a great example of that, there are moment to moment choices that we can make as well. Like there were, there's services like TaskRabbit, or you could get handyman services from like handy.com, or even if there's just a little something that, to your point, will take away from your day, and maybe it takes time away, maybe it stresses you out. I still remember a couple of years ago, I was actually working on staff, and it was like just a busy day, and this is going to sound so silly, but it was stressing me out. I was meeting up with friends after work, and the Flour Bakery has really amazing, amazing sticky buns. And all the women have been like, oh my gosh, we can't wait. This is going to be so great. And I had been like, oh, I'll just swing by after work and grab them. And then as the day got busier and busier and busier, and I knew I wasn't going to have time after work, and I'm starting to get all stressed out because I have to get work done. But I also had made this promise. And then there was this social expectation. And what I ended up doing was hiring someone from TaskRabbit to just go pick up the sticky buns and bring them back. And again, I know that sounds so silly, but the mental load that took off of me made it easier to get back to focusing on work, because then I didn't have this task that I might be able to do, might not be able to do, probably wouldn't. And then all these people who had these expectations of, and I would let them down by not bringing these sticky buns. Again, I know it sounds silly, but you guys also know exactly what I'm talking about. That like, well, I have to do this. Anytime you have the opportunity to, now that you are earning well, when you have the opportunity to do little things like that to save yourself a little bit of angst, do it, get the groceries delivered. Or if you don't want to get them all the way delivered, then do the curbside pickup, which is everybody I know who has little kids are like, why did it take them so long? But even if you don't have little kids and it saves you time or saves you
energy
of
all kinds, emotional and mental energy.
Yes. Or if you're like me, it will literally save you money. Because when I go into a grocery store, I'm like, oh, I need this, I need this, I need this. So just bear that in mind as well. But so don't be afraid to, and then of course for your business as well, maybe this is the year to get a bookkeeper. Just putting that out there. If you're not familiar with bookkeeper services, we've done an interview with Rachel LaMancha earlier in the podcast.
Check out the show notes.
We'll put the link in there. But maybe this is the year to get a bookkeeper for your business and for yourself as well, because that's another thing that's like, is it stressing you out? Probably, right? I think that
and even if it's not, though, I think there's this default that we can do so many things, especially as a freelancer. You start wearing a lot of hats and you're like, I can do this. I can clean my house. I can do the bookkeeping. I can play the role of virtual assistant, which is another one to look into. you can play all these roles and you get good at playing all these roles, but the reality is you just don't have the time to play all of these roles. So pick and choose which ones you need to do, which is writing copy really at the end of the day is what what you need to do. And then all the other ones, yes, you can do it, but figuring out what you can let go of and makes sense to let go of.
That's a great point. Just because you can do it all doesn't mean you should do it all or that you need to do it all.
Or that in reality that you can because you 24 hours in the day.
Yes. Great point. Okay, next category of items to get for your business this holiday season and in 2022. Self-care. Let's not forget, friends, that when you are a freelancer, you are your business's biggest asset, greatest asset. And if anything goes wrong with you, your business is in big trouble. So you need to take care of that asset.
I love a good massage. I'm not going to lie. It's a splurge, and I know, but every other month, every quarter really is really the reality of it. But 'tis the season. I feel like if not now, when? So why not? It's the perfect time to, if that's your thing, or if you're more of like a go to a sauna or spa person, get a pedicure, whatever it is. Male friends too that are listening. My husband got his first pedicure and can vouch for how great and wonderful it was. You're
Good
stuck in a chair. You have nothing to do but relax. Yes, his toes are a lot less disgusting now, I have to say.
Sorry, Chris. But great toes now. Great toes now, we're told. Yeah. Well, and that's the thing too, is if this is something that you like and you value, tell your family and friends. If instead of getting you, I don't know, something else for your birthday or flowers for Valentine's Day, if what you really want is a massage, tell people. Don't make them read your mind. Just tell them that's what you really want. And, you love massages. I love massages as well. I'm not going to lie. I try to make it a priority. I think we might have talked about this in another podcast, but I try to make it a priority to get like a weekend away by myself with no work, also no television, just reading and some journaling and some thinking and some sleeping in and just I love my home. I'm in a totally different place than I was in last year. So there's more space here, which is wonderful, but there's something mentally clearing about being in a place that you have never been in before and a place that you're not in charge of. You don't have to clean, or hire someone to clean, and you don't pay the mortgage on. You get to just kind of go and distance yourself. And I usually go out to dinner at least one of the nights by myself. It's a very nice freeing experience.
Yeah. And right now, perfect time. Look, post New Year's, I feel like is one of the best times to travel, even if it's, getting away in your own town, getting away 2 towns over, whatever it is, just to get out of your own house. I think notoriously the week or two after New Year's, no one's traveling. So it's a perfect time to potentially book yourself a night or two away. And even if you can't, to head to, my favorite thing is going to hotel lobbies and just hanging out and working from there, doing some reading, getting a cocktail at the hotel lobby, doing some goal setting, some goal planning. Again, perfect time to kind of take yourself out of your office. And if you still want to focus on work and moving your business forward, looking at your goals and actually spending quality time just with your goals and not being distracted by all the client projects or other work that you need to get done, which I think is very easy to do when you're in the office. So taking some space away for kind of a special project day of where do I want to go in Q1 of the next year? Where do I want to go where do I want to be at the end of the year? What are some milestones I want to hit throughout the year and how am I going to hit them? Perfect thing to do to take yourself out, even if it's just for an afternoon.
I agree.
Do some afternoon tea.
Yeah, hotels are very conducive to focus. So I'm a hotel lobby hopper. You're a lobby hopper.
Yeah, well, because some of the hotels that you might not actually want to pay for a night there have very lovely lobbies that you can't afford a drink there. So it's kind of a nice middle ground.
I think that's a fantastic idea. And then of course, extrapolating on that, also think about vacations this year. Even if you can't take a vacation or get away in January or whatever, take some time to think about when you will be able to take a vacation this year. Because freelancers especially, If you don't set that time aside now, you're going to
Yeah.
get to the end of the year and be like, oh my God, I meant to take a vacation. I never got a chance to. Clients are notorious for being psychic and having the ability to ask you to take on a whole bunch of rush projects right before vacation or right when you're starting to plan a vacation. So do not let them get in there. Set aside that time and make sure, and then
block it now.
Exactly. Block that time out. And then also put some time in your calendar, maybe 2 weeks, anywhere between a month to 2 weeks in advance. So you can tell your regular clients that you're not available to work at all during that time. Or at least if you're going to go away for a week, great. Even if it's you just take a couple of days from that week to not work, you need time off from working. You need some vacation time.
Yeah. And if the sooner you block it off, the sooner you can then, if a client reaches out to you, say, hey, you know what? I can start it on this date. And they don't even have to know you're on vacation. You just have that start time in mind because you've already blocked it off, versus going back to your calendar and being like, oh, shoot, I wanted to take 4th of July week off. And now I booked myself for this. And oh, darn. The sooner you can do it, put it on that calendar.
Yeah. If at all possible, plan it now. Figure out when you want to do it now. Yeah. And so that's kind of a big thing, but they're like little self-care things you can do too. Kate, I think it's the Calm app that you're a fan of.
Yes. I'm an occasional, not a consistent Calm user, but the Calm app, which, you can find free trials. There are other ones too. I think like Headspace and some other ones. And if you want to, purchase yourself a subscription, I feel like we spend so much money on like $20 here or a $10 latte there that, you know what, a $60 subscription or whatever it is over the course of a year.
Yeah.
It's not a lot in the scheme of things. So that can sometimes help, just to, if you're having a rough day with a client, you put on one of their little daily meditations and just breathe.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Okay. Next topic. Education, gifts you can give yourself and your business in terms of education.
Yes. So I feel like there's, first things first, books. There's always, we have a ton of book recommendations, and we'll link to some in the show notes. But we should always be learning as copywriters, and that's whether it's in our field, but also just, looking for ways to be more productive, ways to, be more efficient in our copywriting, to write better copy. All sorts of good leadership development. I think if freelancers, we don't often think of ourselves as like, I need leadership, but we're running our business. And so whether it's for ourselves and running our business, or to just take control of situations with our clients and really be a great partner to them, those sorts of books are also really helpful too.
Yeah. Well, and I have the Bernie Madoff biography on my list, so I'm going to be learning all kinds of important business tips that I can pass along. No, obviously I'm kidding, but well, catch me if you can. But I joke, of course, but like learning different things keeps you fresh. And I personally am a big fan of Audible as well. And I know you are, if you guys are podcast listeners, as you probably are, or video viewers, it's so convenient to be able to throw on a book. If you're not cleaning if you are cleaning your own house, throw on a book while you are cleaning or while you're doing dishes or making dinner or anything like that. I love it because I learn new things, and it kind of, it keeps me fresh. And I don't always get there, as often at the end of the day. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to sit down and do some reading. I read a couple pages and then I'm like, no, I will be doing some sleeping.
Yeah, it's great for multitasking.
Yeah.
Similarly, in the same vein, newspaper subscriptions, I finally broke down, a lot of these papers, they need money to stay in business. So all your free, you get like however many free a month.
Support our journalist brothers and sisters.
And again, I feel like you read certain things, in whether it's the business section, whether it's the real estate section, whatever it is, I feel like the more you consume, the more reading you do in general, the more ideas you just get from taking your brain outside of whatever it is you're working on. And yeah, there's There's always something good in there. The crossword puzzle's great too.
Yeah, exactly. I know. Sunday. Yeah, absolutely. And along those same lines, I've become a big fan of the Masterclass app, which I think you can app. And actually, I just noticed that I can add it to my Fire TV or my Fire Stick. Fire TV. I don't know. I sound like my mother, but I put it. It shows up on my TV. But the no, like, oh, learn comedy from Steve Martin. Like, are you actually going to learn comedy? You're probably not going to learn to be a stand-up comedian from watching him. But the insight that these really brilliant people brings, it's so mentally refreshing. They say that you are what the combination of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So think about that for a second.
Spend a lot of time with Steve Martin then.
Yeah, well, there you go. But spend a little bit more time with some really creative, interesting, high-level thinkers. And like I said, I can now watch it on, how many nights are you on Netflix that you're like, I don't want to watch that. I don't want to watch that. Okay, watch Aaron Sorkin talk about screenwriting, or instead, or Diane von Furstenberg talking about building a business, or all kinds of wonderful things. Watch it on your TV, watch it on your phone, watch it wherever.
Yeah, that's a great one. And then now, I was going to say, now we'll see when this airs how things are in terms of in-person events, but also virtual events, because a lot of conferences now are doing both virtual and in-person and doing kind of hybrid. Makes it more accessible to people too. You don't necessarily have to get a ticket to wherever you're going. But looking at different conferences, again, it doesn't have to be so copywriting specific and focused, but more broadly, just of where you might get some fresh ideas, whether it's an advertising conference or an entrepreneur, conference, and being able to meet and interact with people and just exchange ideas with people that you wouldn't normally bump into on a regular day, especially if you're freelancing, especially if you're working from home and you're like me and you sometimes think, oh, it's been 48 hours since I've been outside in fresh air. Book yourself for some conferences just so you get those opportunities to talk about what you do, and whether it might not result in anything, but at the very least you get practice saying, here's what I do and here's what I offer. And at the very best, you might get some new connections and some new projects.
Mm-hmm, absolutely. I have great friends that I met from going to business conferences. You end up sitting down next to someone and you chat, and it's so much fun to be able to talk business with people who get it, as much as our spouses love us and our parents and our friends. And if they're not a freelancer, or if they're not in a similar business, it can be a little bit harder for them to understand how big the wins are, or even when it's a relatively small win, how big of a deal it really is. Like, I landed my first client. That's huge, or I sent out my first invoice. Yes. But at the same time too, when you're struggling a little bit, or you're having some challenge, or you're feeling down or whatever, because that's how life is, having people in even like we said, even if it's not other copywriters, people who are in business for themselves can understand that. And it's really nice to be able to truly talk business with people who get it. Yeah. And then one final one in this category, courses. I know that if you're a CCA student, you already have purchased one type of course, but there's so many good courses out there to learn all kinds of aspects about business. If you want to learn Pinterest promotion, if you think that's maybe an avenue you want to go down for, quite frankly, maybe that's an avenue you want to add to the arm of your business, or you think, all right, well, you know what? I bet there aren't a lot of copywriters on Pinterest. Let me see if maybe that's a way that I could market myself. Any number of things, or also, frankly, courses just for fun. There's so many high quality courses out there, insanely high quality courses for just about anything. Unfortunately, it can be a little hard to go to Google and look for them. But you know how ad tracking works. Speak it out into the universe and it will show up on your phone. But actually, really, truly do a little search on Facebook or on Instagram, and you're going to start getting targeted for that stuff. So thank you, ad targeting. Thank you very much.
But if it works and it gets you good stuff, then it's when ads don't work, and you're getting random stuff that it gets frustrating.
No, they figured me out. I should just never put my credit card away when I'm on Instagram. Just leave it right out. Speaking of fun little purchases, borderline frivolous purchases, the last category is jazz hands, office excitement.
Yes. The very official term for these items that bring you joy in your office. Yes. Which, if there's any other time of year, we always say you really don't need anything to start your copywriting business but your portfolio website. And so expense-wise, that really is the only expense. But it can be fun to bring something that brings you a little joy into your office, especially because we spend hours upon hours in it a day generally.
Yeah, well, it's true. I mean, we do spend a lot of time in our offices. And yes, strictly speaking, that we will never tell you to throw hundreds of dollars away on, a office chair because you need it, or, whatever. If it's about making yourself feel more professional and it's going to cost you a bunch of money, maybe reconsider it. However, there can be fun little things that just kind of give you a kick when you sit down to work. Like, I notice personally that I have an easier time getting down to work in the morning if I have like a little ritual, which I know sounds kind of silly, but the transition between I live here, so the transition between home and office is not a commute. It's sitting down and then, now I'm suddenly working. So I found that if I play a little music, if I light a candle, if I check my horoscopes, 3 and then I promptly forget each one of them. But I don't know. There's something about checking them. I'm like, okay, check that off the list. Now I am working. And so I like to have a nice little candle. In fact, I just ordered a couple off of Etsy in again, remember, it's right now when we're recording, it's October. So it's like a pumpkin-y scent. And I'm sure I'll order, some fir tree for December.
I love a good fir tree candle.
Exactly. But they're fun little things. You can get those boards where you can move the letters and put notes to yourself, take action or get stuff done or seize the day or whatever, something that will make you smile, or that will make you feel something personal to you, that will make you feel a little bit motivated. And basically excitement, maybe that's a little bit silly. It doesn't have to be, neon signs or anything, but
it brings you joy.
Yeah, exactly. Something that just makes you happy, that makes you smile to yourself, maybe reminds you of what you're doing, maybe a framed photo of your family, or a framed photo of whatever your goal is. We were talking to some students, I think during
the Freelance Summit.
Yes, exactly. You know where I'm going, about what their goals are. And some people's goals were to be able to take care of their parents. So maybe a framed photo of your parents would be kind of a nice little reminder of why it is you're doing what you're doing, your big why, or if you have a dream house. I think there were some people who had dream houses or dream cars they were working toward. I know
dream vacation.
Dream vacation. Yeah, exactly. Print it out and put it in a little
nice
picture frame on your desk. I mean, maybe if you have kids, probably like put the kids next to the dream house or the dream vacation, just so they don't grow up with issues about where your priorities are. But it never hurts to remind yourself of why you're doing what you're doing, which of course presumably would probably involve caring for your children as well if you have them. But like, there is a hotel in Italy that I've had my eyes on for years, and I'm really hoping the world opens up in 2022 and this will be the year. But I would without a doubt put a photo of that hotel on my desk, because that is absolutely one of the reasons that I do what I do. It's kind of getting back to that self-care, the gift I'm getting myself in my business. That's one of the things. And it would absolutely bring me joy to be working and look down and be like, I'm going there real soon. I don't know exactly when, but I'm on my way there.
Yeah. Some other fun ones, whether it's subscription boxes, but specifically for, snacks, if you want some office snacks, which can be fun, and try some new stuff every month. They also do, I believe, flower subscriptions. So I'm looking, I bought a $10 beautiful bouquet for $10 at the farmer's market this weekend. And, but to do a subscription, then every month you get, and if they last, you can always dry them out, just something to pop of color. Take a look at subscriptions and buy yourself a nice little ongoing. So then you have it throughout the year. It comes up and you're like, oh, it's a nice little monthly surprise.
Yeah, little surprise at your door.
Yeah,
You're right. There are all kinds of great subscriptions. Actually, now that it's the holiday season, or it will be when you guys are listening. Kate, have you ever tried Kringle?
Kringle? No.
Yes. Oh man.
Do I need to? It sounds like I need
yes. It is a kind of pastry that it's flaky dough. It's in a ring, and it's filled with various things relatively, and then there's icing on the top, and it's good. Lately they've had it at Trader Joe's out here, but O&H Bakery, letters O and H Bakery. We're not getting kickbacks. So go to O&H Bakery. I know, in Racine, Wisconsin, but you can order nationwide. And this, right, they have a Kringle of the Month Club. Yes.
That's what I need.
Stuff is delicious. The Krozak family has it every Christmas morning. And lately I've been doing Thanksgiving myself the past couple of years and cooking for some people. So I usually order one for that as well. But there are all kinds, to your point, Kate, there are all kinds of fun monthly subscriptions that you kind of forget about until it shows up at your door and you go, oh yeah.
Yeah. I got my mom a salami one. Now that you're thinking, now I'm going down the food route. Yeah, monthly salami.
I love it. That's adorable.
Yeah. Olympic Provisions is the company, I believe, out in Oregon. Also not kidding. Please send us sausages.
Send us sausages and Kringle. Boy, Kringles. I definitely grew up in Wisconsin. Send me Kringle and sausages. I mean, add cheese on that in that box.
Ooh, a monthly cheese. I bet there's a monthly cheese curd subscription. I'm sure there is.
Guarantee it. I guarantee it. Yeah, but there's all kinds of fun stuff that you can do to treat yourself. Remember, guys, that part of the point of this of getting into copywriting is so that you can do something more fulfilling than what you were doing before. Another part of it is so that you can be more flexible potentially with your schedule, with where you work, with all that kind of stuff. And another part of that is to probably earn more money than you were making before. And when you're earning more money, yes, absolutely save more money. Let's be smart, be conscious about all of that. Sock it away in your 401k.
I was going to say, you can gift yourself a retirement contribution. That's another option.
That's a great idea. And actually, really, if you feel like, no, this is all too frivolous, well then balance out a housekeeper with a house cleaner with a 401k. But it's okay to reward yourself for working hard and for doing well. Again, you are the biggest asset in your business, so treat yourself well. Yeah. Treat your number one employee deserves to be treated every now and again. So don't hesitate to do it.
Yeah, if you want a number one employee mug, get it for yourself.
Number one employee mug in one hand and world's best boss in the other hand. Yes.
Ooh, like a two-sided. That's
genius. Kate, note that down.
I'm getting on it. Yeah.
Yes. You'll see it in our store.
Yes.
Yes. So we hope that this has inspired you a little bit, maybe gotten you a little bit excited to treat yourself. But more than anything else, we hope that it has given you some ideas for ways to take good care of your simultaneous number one employee and best boss. So we will catch you in the next episode. Bye, everybody. Thanks for watching. Make sure you don't miss any tips, tools, or tactics for copywriters by clicking subscribe right now. And of course, you can always find us over at filthyrich.writer.com. We'll see you next time.